Hi guys, and welcome to this second part of the Guess the Number game. So today we are going to build the logic of this web application. So if you have watched the first video, you will see that we built this skeleton, okay, this basic structure for our game. So I encourage you to watch it before continuing, okay, with this one. All right, so today we are going to build the logic with JavaScript. So we don't have anything here for now, but we are going to add our logic here. So right now, what I'm going to do is to prevent the default. So I have built the form here. This is a form, and whenever I submit the form, you will see that the page reloads. So I don't want this, and I want to create a number. So this is like the number we are going to guess. So and have an output here depending on what we put here. All right, so the first thing is I'm going to split my screen like this so I can target all these numbers. So I'm going to first say I'm going to declare variables. Okay, so these will be like the variables representing every single element we need here. Okay, so we first need the form. So we are going to say form equals to document dot query selector. Okay, and then we target the form. All right, so we need the input, so we can call it guess const guess input, which equals to document dot query selector, and we say input. Okay, and we have the button, but I don't think we need the button here, so we can simply say guess input. Okay, and we need these hints. Okay, so this is like where we display the hint, so we can say const hints container, okay, equals to document dot query selector, and we say it's a class, so we need a dot here before the point, before the hints. And we also need, let's say here, okay, let's remove this pen. Okay, so we have like our hints div, and we have our history, so we can say const history equals to document dot query selector, and we say it's a class, so we can say history like this. All right, so this is like where we will display our history. And now what to do is whenever we submit to our form, so we can say sub form dot add event listener, and we say submit. Okay, now we use a callback function, and we can simply say we pass it a event object, and we can say we want to prevent the default, so we say e that prevent default like that. All right, and we can even like console log something like console log say form submitted. Okay, and now we have, whenever we submit our form here, let's say we have 20, I'm opening my console, and when I submit the form, so we have like our form submitted here. All right, so the form is working. So what we need is to create our number. Okay, so we can say const number, or okay, number to guess like that. So we can say math that floor. Okay, and we use a math that random between 0 and 100. Okay, so this is like what's going to give us our random number. Okay, just wait. Okay, so we have like this number to guess. Okay, so we can say whenever we submit the form, we can console log the form. So we can say number to guess, like that. So we'll have, every time we'll have something like between 0 and between 0 and 100. Okay, so this time it's 17. So if I refresh it and say let's say 14 here, so I'll have something between, it's 0. I have something between 0 and 0 and 100. All right, every time it's changing. So now we have like our number to guess here. So now the hint, the game is to find that number, okay, but without printing it to the console. All right, so what we need here is to define our logic. Okay, so we can say whenever we submit something, we want to take the value from this input and then compare it to our number to guess. Okay, so we can say const our guessed number. You can say simply const number, okay, equals to we can say the guess input that value. Okay, and now we have like this number that we guessed. Okay, guess number, let me call it guess number, and then we can say if guess number equals if it equals the actual number, okay, which is the number to guess, we console log guessed. All right, so I just want to console log it from now, and else if guess number less than number to guess, I want to console log too low. Okay, and else I will console log too high, like that. I'll console log too high. All right, so here I think that this is a string. I think this is a string, what you get from that input. So I want to convert it into an actual number. So I think it's maths that something not that let me see. All right, so it's not maths the maths object, so it's simply parse int. Okay, to make it an integer. Sometimes I just forget the functions, so I need to go back to Google and Google it, okay, to find it. So it's parse int, like that. Okay, to make it an integer. If you want to make it a float, you can use parse float. Okay, and now we can test our logic. Let's say we try 23. Okay, so the form is submitting and I deleted this one, so I have to prevent the default first, and yeah, that's fine. So I can say 23. Okay, you see it's too low here, so I'll try something else like 90, too high. Let's say 50, too high. So let's say 35, still too high. Let's try 30. Okay, so it's the right number, so it prints guessed. So that's the logic actually, and now what's left is just to display that in our UI instead of the console. So to do that, we can use like functions okay, put everything inside the function and call the function again. I think I'm going to do that instead of putting it here. And like, I think it's far better to put everything inside a function. I can say print, okay, something like print UI. No, print UI, let's say too low. So this is a function that I'm going to create right now. So this one I can say print UI, let's say guest, okay, print UI, yes, too low. And here I'm going to say print UI too high, and create the function, which is function print UI that takes a message. And then this message, what I want to do is to put it inside these hints. All right, so I can say I'm going to create a span, so I can say const span equals to document that create element, and I create a span, okay, and then say span that inner HTML equals to the message, and now like put it inside the hints. So I can say hints container that I want to add it, so append child, I want to append the span, and yeah, that's it. So you see, like, it's very actually very neat, okay, and clean to have this function here and call it every time. All right, so you have the right to put it, like, to declare the function after like you call it here, because of the hoisting. So JavaScript is going to put everything like in the right order, okay. So if I like have something like 34, so it's printing here too high. All right, so it's working, but it's like adding it, okay. So we don't want that, we want just one to be added, okay. So let's say 9, too low, 6. All right, so we can now like before printing to the UI, I want to say okay, I want to remove whatever was inside this container before adding the new span. So I can say hints container that okay, I want to remove the child. I can either remove the child or say inner HTML equals to like this, okay. So every time like I have a hint, it's simply going to add it, okay, replace it and add it. All right, so now yeah, yes, so now what I'm going to do is to add something to the history here. Every time I try a number, I want to add it to the history, okay. So I can say, I can either put it here. I think I'm going to put it here inside this function. So let's say history that append child, okay. So let's call it history container like that. So history container that append child, I want to append the span. Now let's see how it works. And here I want to like make the span, I want to provide it a class, so I can say span that class list, and I want to add one class, let's say number hint. Okay, doesn't make sense, but like this is like the class that I want to use to target it. Okay, so in my styled CSS, I can say number hint and say display. I want to make it a block or inline block. Okay, it can simply be a block. Okay, and yeah, just to have it occupy the full width. And actually, like, I could do something else here instead of the span, something like a div, okay, or a paragraph. So let's try with a paragraph. I think it's better to have a paragraph. So let's say hint paragraph, and say, okay, let's replace change all occurrences and say hint paragraph, like that. Okay, and say here class of hint. That's fine. So we can say hint. Okay, and here we can add something else, like depending on if it's too low, too high, or if it is guessed. I want to change the color. All right, so I can add something here, a new parameter, and say success. Okay, or simply say here low, and here I want to say high, like that. So it's going to add whatever was here as a class. Okay, so I can say class type, or let's say type, because class is a reserved keyword. So I'm going to add the type here as well as a class. And if it's like success, let's say we want to say background color of, let's say, green, high background color of red. I'm going to change this, okay, later. So let's say low, you can say background color of yeah, let's say royal blue. And now we should have something like display here dynamically using the colors. Okay, too high, let's try 10. Too low, let's try 30 to find the actual number. So 40, 45. Yeah, so it's something between 40, let's say 43. 44. Yeah, now you have the guest, and it's changing colors, okay, depending on the actual type. And here I want it to occupy the full space. All right, so this history container, I can say here, like, after adding this to the message, I can say here history container that, like, hits container here, hits paragraph. I can say hint paragraph that inner HTML equals, now instead of simply message, I can say you guessed, okay, and use template literals and say message, like that, to have it, okay, just for the UI, for the UX, to have it something cool like that. And now I should have something like you guessed this number. Okay, so let's say here hint paragraph, you guessed not the message but the actual guest number, okay, instead of the message. So it's not working now. So why it's not working? Okay, I'm simply going to add here the guest number, just to have it. Okay, guest number and guest number here. So here I can say guest number, yeah, and now I have it. I know like this is not really intuitive, changing the content and like making it again. So I'm going to change its name. Okay, like create a new paragraph. Let's say it's actually like, I think it's actually good because it's still a hint, but I can say const hint history like this, and say document dot create element p. Okay, so to just separate the logics here, have something for our history and something for our paragraph. So say hint history like that, and history container, instead of hint paragraph, I'll add hint history like that. Okay, and now I should have something like separate from the hint paragraph. Okay, so I have here too low, and you guessed, okay, let's say 12. All right, so yeah, so here I'm going to change the color of this, okay, later. There is a website that's called Colors, something like that, and where you will find like really awesome colors or color combinations you can use for your web application. I'm just going to choose 3 ones for our application. Okay, so you can use this this website even for other projects. So I'm going to use this one for the low. Simply copy it and yeah, paste it here as a hex color. And for the high, instead of this red, I'm going to use something like smoother. Yeah, because this red is raw. I don't really like this this kind of red. It's too red. So I'm going to use something like, let's say, orange. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to use this orange like that. Oh no, it's not this one. Yeah, copy it here and paste it here to have this. Now for the success, let's use something cool. Let's say it really depends on you. You can choose the one you like. Okay, if you want, you can make it like even another one other than red or green, but I just prefer green. Let's say avocado, because I love avocados. Yeah, so this one, let's paste it here, and now we have, okay, our legendary colors. This is how I can call it. And for our hint, okay, let's target it and say the color can be white. Okay, and yeah, that's it. To have it like that. Okay, every time 16, probably not, let's say 25. Too low, let's say 50. Okay, still too low, so it's let's say 75. Okay, now it's too high, and this is what I want it to see. Okay, And now let's implement what's next, which is the here's the hints, because I want to have like the hits. Okay, so like you have like 6 hits before the game ends, so just to make it more difficult and more challenging. But like this game is already a nice game. And okay, here I want to clear the the input here and everything whenever I find yeah, the right number, or I can simply wait for the user itself to reset the game before cleaning everything. Okay, so here every time like I guess a number, I can say clean it. So after printing to the UI, I can say yeah, so I can say clean after every time, so I can call it here. So I don't need a function. I can simply say guess input that value equals to empty string. Yeah, so whenever I write something here, it's going to clean it next. Okay, like that, so it's cleaning it. So now what we can do is display our hints here, okay, to make it just more difficult. And whenever if we found our number, which is here, okay, guessed here, we want to let's say add a new button to uh, to restart our game. All right, and when we start our game, we simply, I think we can just reload the page, okay, to make it just simpler. So we can say display display restart btn. Okay, so this is like this is going to be a really short function, but I want to put it inside this function. Okay, let's say display restart btn, like that. Put the function here. Okay, and before that, I'm going to add here a restart button. Okay, say button, let's say restart. All right, like that. Outside of the form, I think it can be outside of the form, or it can be inside, doesn't matter. So restart button, and give it a class of restart btn. Okay, and say here restart by default btn display is going to be none. Okay, so you won't see it actually. Okay, it's none, like the display is none. But let's say here const display btn equals to document dot query selector. Let's say display btn. I don't know if it's going to work if I put it here, but let's see. And here display restart btn, I can say display btn dot, okay, style, let's say style dot display is going to be a block. Okay, now I want to make it a block. So let's see if it's going to work. So if I enter, let's say 50, too low, so 75, too low, 85, too low. All right, 95, too low, 100, Okay, too high. So let's say 97, too low, so it's probably 98 or 99. Okay, so I guessed 99 here, and our button is not showing, so we need to change something here. Let me remove, if I remove this, yeah, so we have this here, our restart button. All right, so let me try to make it, do it here. Let's say, okay, so this is display button. I want to like put the styling here. Okay, so I can say display button that style that display equals to none, like that. So if I do it like that, okay, here display btn, and yeah, I think the css was working actually, and it was because of this display btn. So let's try again. Let's say 75, 50, 65, too high. So let's say 55, too low. So 50, too low. 57, too low. 58, 59. Oh, let's say y. Okay. Okay, so 63, 62, 61. All right, so let me simply console log here our number to guess to save time. So number to guess, console log it, so we don't have to guess it. Okay, I'm clicking on this one. Okay, so if let's try again. We can simply console log it here. We have 33. All right, so it's not showing. So cannot read property style of null. So it's not finding it. That's why. So I think we have to remove it from here, and yeah, we have to put it here. So let's say display button that style that display equals to none. All right, so what is our new number? We don't need to guess it. Index.js 8. So it's not finding it, like document query selector display button. Why it's not finding it here? Okay, it's not display, it's restart. My bad. So restart. Okay, let's try again. 78. Okay, now it's finding it. Okay, now it's finding it, and I think the old way was working. So if I remove it from here and put it here, restart btn. Yeah, so let's see, 52. Yeah, it's still working. So this is what I was thinking of, and now like it's working, everything is working. And this one number to guess, I want to add it on event listener, so we can say not the display button, I mean, so I can call it restart button instead of display button. So here let's say restart button, like that. And yeah, we can add it here. Let's say restart button that add event listener. Okay, we add a click event with a callback function. We can say window that reload reload. I think the reload exists to reload the 21 restart. Okay, we know that reload, so we can search it here. Reload page JavaScript. Yeah, so it's like window that location that reload. So location that reload. And yes, so if I have it, like I have 8, and if I restart it, okay, it's now working. 68 restart. Okay, so what I don't want is to do it with JavaScript, so to restart everything. But if you had to keep track of, let's say, the highest score, or someone that made the least hits possible, so you can choose to do it another way. Okay, but for this one, to make it simpler, I just want to restart user location that restart method. Okay, and let's now put a hint or a hits. So let's say let instead of cons, because it's going to change. So we say max hits equals to, let's say, 6. We want to give the user 6 hits. Every time here we play, we say max hits. Okay, let's say minus equal to 1 to decrement it, and check game. Or okay, let's find another logic. So here, if we can say if the max hits, okay, so we can say if max hits less than or equals to 0. Okay, we can simply say equals to 0. We can say game over the function, we can call it. Okay, and the game over function is going to simply say display the game over function. Game over, what's going to do is to target the hints container. Okay, so hints container that inner HTML equals to null 0, and then const p game over paragraph equals to document that create element p, and we say game over paragraph that inner HTML, okay, equals to, let's say, game over you you played all your hits, and we can now display restart btn. Okay, and like we have to make the play button, we have to make it inactive. Okay, so we can do it here, inside here. So we have to target it before making it inactive. Let's say submit btn or guess btn. So we could give it a class of guess btn, like that. And here we can say const guess btn equals to document that query selector, and say guess btn. Okay, and now we have the guess btn. We can give it a change. You can say guess btn dot disabled equals to true. All right, now like it should disable our guess btn, so you don't have, so you cannot play again. And yeah, yeah, and even like the input, we have to do something with it. Okay, but first let's see this game over paragraph. We add it to the append child, and we add the hints container. Yeah, now let's see, we have to add as well this max hints, display it that dynamically. So we can say we can add it to our hints print UI, and yeah, hints container that in a HTML, we can add the hints here. So at the end, so we can say const. You can add a paragraph. Let's say hits paragraph equals to document that create element. Okay, we add a p, and hits paragraph that inner HTML equals to max hits left, like that. And then we append it to our hints container. So we say hints container that append child, and we add the hits paragraph. Okay, and now we should have something here. Let's say 36 hits left. Okay, and it should actually do like 5 hits left. So let's see what is happening. Okay, so we want to put this before. Okay, here we want to put it before the if condition, so that when we play, okay, 5 left. So you can say here, yeah, hits left. And when we say 68, okay, 5 hits left. All right, and again 94 hits, 0, 3 hits, 2 hits, 1 hit. All right, so now I think it's displaying. Yeah, it's now like doing the game over, but there is something that's not working at line 59 I mean. So let's see, hints container that append child I mean game over paragraph here. Okay, so if I play again, so game over, you played all your hints. Okay, and now the button should be disabled, but there is something that's not working. Line 49. So I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, so let's see. Cannot read property style of null. So why it's not seeing it? The guess btn. Yeah. Okay, I didn't save it. That's why. And here there is no style. It's just disabled. Yeah. So here I can say 30. Okay, 30. All right, 20. Okay, so now like it's not displaying it. 0 hits left. All right, but it's not showing this game over. If max hints equals to 0, it should display the game over. Yeah, but let's say 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, let's see now what's not working here. Game over paragraph, hints container, that append child, the game over paragraph. Okay, so there is a problem with doing it for the hints container. I don't know exactly what is happening. Probably like with some debugging, it shouldn't take that long, but I'm going to append it to the form. Okay, and display the restart button. So now you will have the game over message. So so you have the game over, you played all your hints, and when I try to play, okay, it's not submitting because this is disabled. All right, and I can restart the game and play again. Okay, it's too high. Let's say let's try to oh no. As well, like I want to add a required here. Okay, to not have empty string. So if I try to submit with an empty string, it's required. Now let's try with 50. I have 5 hints left. I can try 25. Okay, so now let's try 35. Too high. Let's try 30. All right, so now we have it here, guessed. And yeah, now you cannot keep playing. You can only restart. All right, so that was it for this game. And you can style like the history. You can style everything here using CSS if you want, but this is like what I wanted to show you using vanilla JavaScript. And I hope you liked it. See you on the next one.